The crime that shook India, the Nirbhaya case and its unforgettable impact on the nation. It was a crime so brutal, so horrifying, that it didn't just make headlines, it ignited a national revolution. A young woman boarded a bus in Delhi with a friend. She never made it home. What followed would forever change India's laws, its people, and the way the world saw the safety of women in the country. This is the full story of the Nirbhaya case, the crime that shook a nation. Who was Nirbhaya? The life story of Jyoti Singh. Early life and background. Her real name was Jyoti Singh, born in the year 1989 in Balia district, Uttar Pradesh, India. Her family later moved to Delhi. Her father, Badranath Singh, worked as a loader at the Palam airport and later in a private security firm, while her mother was a homemaker. She was one of 3 children in a humble working-class family. According to her mother, Asha Devi, she was a brilliant student and had dreams bigger than the life she was born into. Childhood and education. From a young age, Jyoti was ambitious, determined, and deeply compassionate. Despite financial struggles, her family prioritized her education. Jyoti was particularly good at science and biology. She dreamed of becoming a doctor. She studied at Priyadarshini College of Physical Therapy in Uttam Nagar, Delhi. To support her studies, Jyoti tutored younger children, helped in local clinics, and even worked part-time jobs. Her father sold his ancestral land in Balia to finance her higher education. She told her father, "Papa, I will take you out of poverty one day. I'll buy you a house. You won't have to work anymore." Her dreams and aspirations. Jyoti was pursuing a bachelor's degree in physiotherapy, nearing the final stages of her internship. Her ambition was to become a successful physiotherapist, possibly in a large hospital in Delhi. Friends and teachers remember her as cheerful, disciplined, and focused. She was outspoken about gender inequality and women's rights, though she never imagined becoming the face of that struggle. Her personal life. On the evening of December 16, 2012, Jyoti had gone to watch the movie Life of Pi with a male friend, someone she trusted. After the movie, they boarded a private bus, assuming it was a safe ride home. What followed was a brutal attack that would claim her life and spark a movement. The incident and her final days. She was gang-raped, tortured with a rusted iron rod, and thrown from a moving bus. Despite the extreme trauma and pain, she remained conscious and identified her attackers. She was treated at Safdarjung Hospital and later moved to Mount Elizabeth Hospital in Singapore. For almost 2 weeks, she fought bravely, enduring multiple surgeries and infections. Her condition worsened due to septicemia, and on December 29, 2012, she succumbed to her injuries. The night of the crime. On that cold December evening, a 23-year-old physiotherapy intern and her male friend were returning home after watching the movie Life of Pi at the Select City Walk Mall in Saket. They were trying to get an auto rickshaw but failed. That's when a private charter bus pulled up. It looked like a regular bus. It even had curtains. 6 men, including the driver, were on board. The couple was offered a ride, and they got in, completely unaware that it was a trap. What happened next was one of the most brutal and inhuman acts ever committed in modern Indian history. The 6 men beat up the male companion with an iron rod until he was unconscious. Then they turned on the woman. For nearly an hour they raped her, one after another, as the bus kept driving around the city. The men inserted a rusted iron rod into her body, causing severe internal injuries and trauma. When they were done, they threw both victims out of the moving bus, naked and bleeding, on a roadside in Mahipalpur. A passerby found them and called the police. The woman, now known to the world as Nirbhaya, meaning fearless, was taken to Safdarjung Hospital. National and global outrage. The news broke, and within hours, it went viral. Delhi erupted in protests. So did the rest of India. Thousands, mostly students and young women, took to the streets. They gathered at India Gate and Raisina Hill, demanding justice, swift punishment, and safer streets for women. Protesters were met with water cannons and tear gas, but they refused to back down. The case drew international attention. Human rights organizations, world leaders, celebrities, and even the United Nations condemned the brutality. Nirbhaya became a symbol of resistance, the fight for her life. In the hospital, doctors worked around the clock. Nirbhaya underwent multiple surgeries, and for a while there was hope, but her internal injuries were catastrophic. She reportedly said, "I want to live. I want those men to be punished." On December 27, she was flown to Mount Elizabeth Hospital in Singapore, a high-end facility for organ transplant and trauma. But on December 29, 2012, she died due to multiple organ failure and sepsis. Her body was flown back and cremated in Delhi. The nation mourned. The anger deepened. The trial. The police acted fast. Within days, all 6 accused were arrested. Ram Singh, the bus driver Mukesh Singh, Ram Singh's brother Vinay Sharma, a gym instructor Akshay Thakur from Bihar, Pawan Gupta, a fruit seller. The juvenile, aged 17 at the time, the brutality of the crime and the speed of the arrest led to a fast-track court being set up for this case. But before the trial could begin, Ram Singh was found dead in his Tihar jail cell in March 2013. Officially, it was ruled a suicide, but his family claimed he was murdered. Verdicts: the juvenile, being under 18, was tried under the Juvenile Justice Act. He was sentenced to 3 years in a reform home, the maximum punishment under the law at the time. This caused public fury. The other 4 were convicted and sentenced to death by the trial court in September 2013. The sentence was upheld by the High Court in 2014 and by the Supreme Court in 2017. Despite multiple appeals, mercy petitions, and last-minute legal moves, on March 20, 2020, all 4 convicts were executed by hanging in Tihar jail, the first execution of multiple prisoners together in India since independence. The legal reforms. The Nirbhaya case led to a legal and societal earthquake. The Justice Verma Committee. In response to public outrage, the Indian government formed a 3-member committee led by former Chief Justice J.S. Verma to suggest amendments to criminal law. Their 630-page report, submitted in just 29 days, was revolutionary. Key recommendations: broader definition of sexual assault, not limited to rape. Criminalizing stalking and voyeurism. Stricter punishment for crimes against women. Elimination of police inaction and ensuring accountability. Repeal of the 2-finger test for rape victims. Fast-track courts for sexual assault cases. While not all were implemented, many led to the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which, based on the Verma Committee report, Parliament passed the Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, which brought major changes: stronger punishments for rape. Minimum sentence, 7 years, earlier 2 years. Gang rape, 20 years to life imprisonment. Rape causing death, permanent damage. Death penalty or life imprisonment. Newly recognized offenses: stalking, Section 354D, voyeurism, Section 354C, acid attacks, Section 326A and 326B, sexual harassment, Section 354A, faster trials for rape cases, 6-month deadline for court proceedings. Mandatory police action for rape complaints. Failure to register a complaint became a punishable offense. Juvenile Justice Act Amendment, 2015. One of the rapists was a juvenile, 17 years old. He was sentenced to only 3 years in a juvenile correctional home, leading to public outrage. As a result, the Juvenile Justice Act was amended, allowing 16 to 18-year-olds to be tried as adults for heinous crimes. Nirbhaya Fund, 2013. The Indian government set up the Nirbhaya Fund, a Rs 10 billion corpus for schemes that improve women's safety. The fund has been used for panic buttons on mobile phones, CCTV cameras in public transport, Fast-track courts for sexual assault cases. Fast-track courts for rape cases. To ensure speedy justice, special fast-track courts were set up across India. Impact on Indian society. The Nirbhaya case triggered a societal shift. Increased awareness and reporting of sexual crimes. More stringent laws against sexual harassment and acid attacks. Shift in societal attitudes toward victim blaming. Push for stronger safety measures, such as CCTV in public places and women's helplines. Initiatives launched. Nirbhaya Fund, I-1,000 crore allocated to support women's safety across the country. One-stop crisis centers for rape survivors to receive medical, legal and psychological help. Women's helplines and panic buttons on phones. Police forces across major cities began training for gender sensitization. Yet, even today, many argue that systemic issues remain. Delays in justice, victim-blaming attitudes, and loopholes in law enforcement. Criticism and challenges. Despite the reforms, challenges remain. Delayed justice. Many rape cases still take years to resolve. Implementation issues, police negligence and societal stigma deter victims from reporting crimes. Marital rape is still not criminalized in India. Legacy and what she became. Jyoti Singh became Nirbhaya, meaning fearless one, coined by the media and supported by citizens to protect her identity and honor her spirit. She posthumously became the symbol of a national awakening around women's safety. Her parents, Asha Devi and Badrinath Singh, have since become activists and champions for rape victims' rights in India. In 2015, they chose to reveal her name publicly to ensure she would not just be remembered as a victim, but as a warrior. She wasn't Nirbhaya because she was fearless in death. She was fearless in life. Asha Devi. Tributes to Jyoti Singh. A street in her hometown was renamed in her honor. Documentaries and international films have told her story, including India's Daughter by Leslie Udwin, banned in India. Awards and scholarships have been established in her name. The Nirbhaya Fund was created by the Indian government to support women's safety. India discarding a culture of silence and impunity. Before 2012, rape and sexual violence were treated as women's issues rather than societal crimes. Victims were silenced, police were indifferent, and courts were slow. The Nirbhaya case shattered this culture of impunity, forcing India to confront the reality of sexual violence and reform its laws. The Nirbhaya case was a turning point in India's legal and social landscape. It sparked national outrage, led to sweeping legal reforms, and changed public discourse around sexual violence. However, challenges persist, and continued efforts are needed to ensure women's safety and justice. Before the 2012 Nirbhaya case, sexual assault in India was a severely underreported crime due to social stigma, victim blaming, and ineffective legal mechanisms. While sexual violence was always a reality, the way society, law enforcement, and the judicial system dealt with it was deeply flawed. Here's a look at the sexual assault culture in India before 2012. 1. Social attitudes towards sexual assault, victim blaming and honor culture. Women were often blamed for being assaulted. Questions like, "What was she wearing?" or "Why was she out at night?" were common. Loss of family honor. In many cases, rape survivors were pressured to stay silent because their assault was seen as bringing shame to their families. Marriage as a solution to rape. Courts and society sometimes suggested that a rapist marry the victim to restore her honor. Low reporting due to fear and stigma. Women feared repercussions from their families, communities, and even the police if they reported rape. Survivors often faced ostracization while the perpetrators went unpunished. 2. Legal system and loopholes. Weak laws on rape and sexual violence. Before 2013, rape laws were outdated and narrow. Consent was poorly defined. and courts often focused on whether a woman fought back rather than whether she actually consented. Marital rape was not criminalized and still isn't. Light punishments and long trials. Rape punishments were lenient, minimum of 2 years in prison, with many rapists getting away with bail or short sentences. Fast-track courts did not exist, so cases dragged on for years. The burden of proof was on the victim, meaning she had to prove she was raped, rather than the accused proving his innocence. Flawed definition of rape. Sexual violence was not well defined in law. Before 2013, rape was only considered penetrative vaginal rape. Acts like forced anal, oral sex, stalking, and sexual harassment were not classified as serious crimes. Police insensitivity and corruption. Police discouraged victims from filing complaints. Officers often refused to register first information reports, FIRs, unless pressured. Bribes and political pressure protected perpetrators, especially if they were powerful or well-connected. Police blamed victims and humiliated them when they reported rape. 3. Cultural and media influence movies and songs romanticized harassment. Bollywood portrayed stalking and harassment as romantic gestures, reinforcing the idea that women must give in to a man's persistence. Item songs and sexist dialogues objectified women, influencing how society viewed sexual aggression. Sexual violence was ignored in rural India. In villages and small towns, Kap Panchayats, caste councils, often handled rape cases informally. Honor killings were sometimes ordered if a woman accused a man of rape, especially if it was intercaste. 4. High-profile rape cases. Before 2012, ignored or mishandled. Mathura rape case, 1972. A 16-year-old tribal girl was raped by 2 policemen in custody. The Supreme Court acquitted the policeman, saying the victim had no signs of struggle, implying consent. This led to protests and the first wave of rape law reforms in 1983. Panwari Devi case, 1992. A social worker was gang-raped by 5 upper-caste men for trying to stop child marriages in Rajasthan. A trial court acquitted all 5 accused, saying upper-caste men don't rape lower-caste women. This led to the Vishaka Guidelines in 1997, India's first workplace sexual harassment law. Park Street rape case, 2012, Kolkata. A woman was gang-raped in a moving car in Kolkata. The West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee dismissed it as staged. The victim faced social backlash, showing how even high-profile cases were ignored. Conclusion: the Nirbhaya case wasn't just a horrific crime. It became a wake-up call, a moment when India looked itself in the mirror. Her story sparked anger, change, and most importantly, hope for a safer tomorrow. But the question remains, has enough changed? As long as fear still haunts women walking alone at night, as long as justice is delayed. We must remember Jyoti Singh, not just as a victim, but as a symbol of courage. If this story moved you, share it. Let's keep the conversation alive. Subscribe to the channel for more powerful real-life crime stories that shaped our world. This was Crime Historic Haven. Until next time, stay aware, stay safe,